Days turned into weeks, and though Capitu and I tried to carry on as though nothing had changed, the unspoken tension between us grew heavier with each passing day. Love, it seemed, wasn't enough to silence the voice of doubt that had taken root in my heart. One afternoon, we attended a small gathering at the house of an acquaintance. Capitu, as always, was the center of attention. Her charm and wit captivated everyone in the room, and I couldn't help but feel a swell of pride as I watched her. But pride, like love, can be a double-edged sword. As I observed her laughing and conversing with the other guests, a familiar unease crept over me. I noticed the way other men looked at her, the way they hung on her every word. One man in particular caught my attention. He was young, handsome, and far too attentive for my liking. He stood close to Capitu, leaning in. As she spoke, his eyes never leaving her face. I tried to dismiss it, to tell myself that I was imagining things. But the seed of doubt had already been planted, and it began to grow with alarming speed. When we returned home that evening, I couldn't keep my suspicions to myself any longer. Who was that man? I asked, my tone sharper than I intended. Capitu looked at me, her brow furrowing in confusion. What man? The one you were talking to all night, I said. The one who couldn't seem to take his eyes off you. She sighed, a sound filled with both frustration and exhaustion. Bento, he's just an old friend. We were catching up, that's all. Just an old friend, I repeated, my voice rising. It didn't look like that to me. Her eyes narrowed, and for the first time I saw a flash of anger in her gaze. And what did it look like to you, Bento? Go ahead, say it. Accuse me of something I haven't done. I'm not accusing you of anything, I said, though my tone betrayed me. I just think it's strange, that's all. What's strange is your inability to trust me, she shot back. No matter what I do, no matter how much I love you, it's never enough for you, is it? Her words cut deep. But I was too consumed by my own insecurities to acknowledge the truth in them. The days that followed were tense. Capitu tried to act as though nothing had happened, but I could see the hurt in her eyes, the way she withdrew from me little by little. I too felt the strain of our growing distance. I wanted to believe her, to trust her, but the doubts refused to let go. One evening, as I sat alone in the study, I found myself reaching for an old journal. It was a habit I had picked up as a boy, writing down my thoughts and feelings when they became too much to bear. As I flipped through the pages, I came across an entry from years ago, written shortly after I had first met Capitu. She is unlike anyone I've ever known, I had written. Beautiful, intelligent, and full of life. When I'm with her, I feel like I can do anything, be anything. She makes the world brighter, better. The words hit me like a blow. When had I stopped seeing her that way? When had my love for her turned into suspicion and fear? I closed the journal and sat there in silence, the weight of my own actions pressing down on me. I realized that I had been so consumed by my doubts that I had forgotten why I had fallen in love with Capitu in the first place. But even as I resolved to change, to rebuild the trust I had lost, I couldn't shake the feeling that it might already be too late. Regret is a heavy burden, and sometimes it comes too late to make a difference. In the next chapter, I'll tell you how my doubts and insecurities led to a series of choices that would forever alter the course of my life. Don't miss it.